come to you with my third video diary for my senior expedition. My third week at Seven Hills was pretty quiet because it's really cold here and everybody didn't really want to go out in the snow. So there was just 3 perios, which is teeth cleanings, and that was cool to watch. And while it's interesting, I'm guessing you guys have already heard enough about teeth cleaning. So I thought this video diary could be more about some of the other facts besides surgical facts that I've learned at my shadowing. So for those of you out there who want to be vets, one thing that I read in one of those vet stories books and then confirmed with one of the vets at Seven Hills is that if an owner tells you that the dog doesn't bite or has never acted that way before, expect the opposite. It's like a famous last words and Murphy's Law rolled into one. If somebody says that the dog doesn't bite, most likely it's gonna bite you. And it could be a little bite like on your finger, or it could be your face. So you don't want to take that chance. Another thing I learned is that with cats, the reason that they have to put some of them into boxes, the more volatile ones, is because with dogs, you can just put a muzzle on them. You won't have to worry about them biting. Cats have 5 places you have to worry about. The teeth, claws, 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 claws. And it's easier than putting a muzzle on a cat. They have them, but then you still have to worry about the claws. So the box is a safe way to get them to go to sleep, and it also makes for less wear and tear on the techs and the vets. The tube they use to intubate the animals, it goes right down the trachea, and with certain animals like cats, they have to put a numbing agent down the trachea because cats are much more sensitive and it could hurt them, but if they numb it, then they won't feel it. So because most animals during surgery don't actually close their eyes, they have to use eye lube right in the corners so that their eyes don't dry out and so everything stays working properly. And for cats, the way you know that they're really truly under is if they're pointed down and crossed. And that means they're just under right. But if they're staring straight ahead, it either means they're too deep or too shallow, and you can probably tell based on the cat's movements. If it won't move at all, then it's probably in too deep. If it's moving quite a bit, it's too shallow. If any of you are interested, I talk a lot about the drugs that make the animals go to sleep and not feel anything. So I've already said lidocaine, which is a numbing agent. There's also acepromazine, which stops secretions, atropine, which is a painkiller, and hydromorphone, which makes them sleepy, and then propofol is the one they use to actually make the dog or cat sleep. A couple weeks ago, I mentioned that one of the dogs I was observing had to get some extensive dental work and some growths cut off. Now with this, instead of using the laser, they had to use a scalpel. You may ask why, since I did say the laser was cleaner. It's because a laser, when it hits the enamel, which is like the protective stuff on teeth, if it hits that, it's like a bullet at a wall. It causes lots of damage. And without that protection, then our teeth are pretty sensitive. I'm really happy to announce that Lily, the cat I mentioned last week in my video diary, has been adopted. So this week's message is based on some of those animal Super Bowls like the Puppy Bowl and the Kitten Bowl. And my message this week is, instead of buying from a breeder, go to a shelter and adopt a shelter pet. They're just as lovable. Some of them are more trained than a puppy from a breeder would or a kitten from a breeder would be. And they're in need of loving homes. And they are so sweet. And it's usually less expensive to adopt from a shelter rather than to buy from a breeder. So I highly encourage you guys to adopt a shelter pet. They can be the sweetest, and there's so many in need of homes. So thanks for watching. See you next week.